Hi, everybody. How's it going? Thank you guys so much for coming out. I'm so excited to have you all here. Naturally, my voice is gone for our 50th episode podcast, which means I've been doing way too much chatting. But thank you guys so much for coming out. We're so excited to have you all here. And before we get started, I want to kind of give a little background on this amazing, amazing place. First off, area, there you are. This hotel actually has a lot of meaning to me. It actually was something that I worked on before I started my agency, before I started the podcast, before I really became that boss babe, girl boss. And I actually want to bring up a dear friend that kind of was with me through this whole time, and she designed the entire hotel. So I want her to come up. I want to recognize her. Sormay, please will you come up for a second? So I want you to just speak to your truth and being the interior designer. If you guys listen to the podcast, you'll know that she was on the podcast last week, and she really kind of just told us the full story of the Guild and how you got started. But tell us a little bit about the Guild before we get started.
I'll keep it brief because I hate public speaking. Basically, I genuinely created the Guild for people like you guys. I felt there was a big lack in the market for venues that cater to people who care about aesthetics, but also care about enjoying their lives. The whole concept is based on 5 o'clock somewhere in Europe, and it's meant to just transport you and give you a feeling, whatever that feeling is, whether it's happiness, sadness, nostalgia. It's just meant to evoke something for you, and when you walk in, it's supposed to give you that reprieve or that pause. So when I met Whitney and this all kind of came together, I couldn't imagine a better event to take place here. I'm not responsible for the events that I don't align with, like the one that was occurring out there. But yeah, that's it, and I really don't like public speaking. So.
Well, you killed it. Thank you so much. Awesome. So, yeah, this is our 50th episode. Hi, Erin.
Hi.
So let's chat about how me and you know each other.
Okay.
So I met you, way back when I first started. And you were like, I want to dress you. I want to talk to you about this event. We had it at I think it was like a fruit wine distillery.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. And so basically the reason why I felt like Erin was so perfect, and we'll get to the collaboration in a second, but you had literally been with me since the beginning.
Totally.
Yeah. And I want to chat about you. I want to chat about how you started this jewelry line, what even inspired you to start making jewelry.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I'm ready for it.
Oh.
So tell us what made you to go to jewelry?
Oh my gosh. So it was so funny because I was reflecting on all this and trying to pull okay, where did it really start? Where is the past? What can I, identify from? And I know that we have some 80s babies in here, you guys. So 80s babies, what I realized is from so young, I was creating and I was making. And so do you guys remember, did you ever do those looms that were cotton looms and you made pot holders for your mom? Does anybody remember that, please? Okay, two. Okay, good. So there was that. And then I feel like I was a Michael's baby. I was always making.
Listen, I did the rainbow hair wrap situations and
Yes.
Gosh, the friendship bracelets that you attached to your backpack and stuff.
100%.
I don't know about
100%.
the looms, but I'm there. I'm with you.
Okay, perfect. So anyways, it all goes back to using my hands and honestly creating. And my mom was an artist. My dad was actually an accountant and had nothing to do with it, but definitely my mom inspiring me and encouraging me to try all these different things. So anyways, so long story short, as far as where the jewelry started, I really started out as a photographer. And I went to school for photography in high school. And after photography, I actually ended up picking up costume design. And after costume design.
So what's, I'm imagining like Frankenstein.
Yeah, so kind of, except like, you know, sewing and like, you know, lots of like basically like sequins and things like that.
Okay. I mean, I can rock a good sequence. Yeah. Hi.
So anyways, so it took me from photography, and then I went into costume design, and then I actually went into floral design. And what I found was that like when I am using my hands, like I get completely lost. And so after floral design, it went into jewelry. And when it went into jewelry, it was like, this is it. Like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
And I remember the first piece, one of the first pieces I fell in love with, it was actually at Swirl, your pendant.
Okay.
And tell me, because one of the things that made you so different is that you would take these vintage pieces of jewelry and bring them back to life, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So, which is so, I mean, for those of you that know like handmade jewelry, you know, to bring something that's vintage, bring something that's that old, and I believe was it from the 70s?
Yeah, from the 70s.
Yeah, and to recreate it and bring it back to life to a modern piece is so unique. So, I mean, first off, how do you even do that? How do you make jewelry? How do you, give us the lowdown?
There's like so many layers, you guys. Like there's so many layers to making jewelry. There's so many layers to design and all of that. And actually, like the vintage part, I feel like came from like me loving to thrift when I was younger. Like I didn't have like a lot of money to like go buy like what all the other girls were wearing. So I was like, okay, let me go to a thrift store and like find something cool and make it modern in whatever way. And so that actually translates like so much into the jewelry. And it was really funny. Like I was doing my very first art show at it was like this like ghetto studio in Cincinnati, and I met this woman who owned a vintage store, and her name was Gail, and she was like, oh my God, like I'm opening my first store. It's like a storefront. I've been in business for 30 years. Like we just connected, and she was like, come work for me. And so I was like, okay, like I'm down. I like started working for her. She was like my third job at the time. And working for her actually just like opened my world up into like the world of vintage. And she loved like the history of fashion. She loved design, and she taught me like, and basically was like my mentor as far as like the history of all these things. And then it was actually through that process that I learned and like saw all of these different things that were like people were throwing away, or like say for instance like a brooch was like completely not modern, and I was like, oh my God, this is like the coolest effing brooch that I've ever seen in my life. Like if we just put this like on a necklace, like that would be amazing. And so I started repurposing. And so the vintage came from like actually that job, and I started repurposing all these amazing things, and that was actually where my first business started.
Which kind of like gives way to like, I mean, you're wearing a leopard on your neck right now, and like, you know, like you bring to life like these such extraordinary pieces.
Oh, thank you. Well, everything is vintage inspired. Like everything that I do is like this next collection that I'm actually putting out is called Deco Safari. So, I mean, 1920s meets the wild safari, just like amazing wild animals and, you know, all that aesthetic. So
I love it. I'm here for it. I'm ready. So let's talk a little bit about the line that you and I collaborated on.
Absolutely.
So you came to me with this idea, and you're like, hey, like let's do something. We both work our asses off. We're, you know, business owners. It's not easy, but we're here. And I basically was like, look, I wear your jewelry night and day, and I don't take it off. Yeah. And you kind of like took, you know, my own persona and put it into jewelry and really brought it to life. So tell us about like, start from the ear cuff to the necklace. Like tell me what the inspiration was behind all of it.
Oh my God, amazing. So one of the things that, you know, I feel like you deserve so much credit for that as well. Like seriously, like, yeah, right? Like, I mean, this woman, like, hello. You are the boss babe. You are the boss babe behind the boss babe set. So anyways, yeah, but just definitely like needing something that can take you from day to night. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, again, I actually just recently posted about this, but it was like, whether you're a girl boss or a lady boss or a mom boss, like there's like, you're so busy that you don't have time to like change your jewelry out. And so one of the things was using like the gold fill, which is, it's basically there's gold plate and then there's gold fill and then there's 14 karat gold, et cetera. And it goes up from that. And so gold fill is something that you can wear all the time. You can shower in it, you can work out, you can party in it, whatever, and you don't have to take it off. And
that's why too, I think that's what I was talking to you about, where I was like, look, whatever women are doing, I'm not somebody that's like, oh, let me buy all this nice jewelry because I beat the hell out of it. It's getting tarnished, it's turning my fingers green, it's whatever. Yeah. And your jewelry is some of the only jewelry that doesn't do that, right? And it goes from day to night. So when I sat down with you, I was like, as long as this stuff is wearable, as long as I can do me and it just can hang on with it, and then it'll be great.
I love it. Yes. And it can totally hang out with you. And hang on with you. But yeah, no, definitely gold fill is the way to go. As far as all that's concerned. And I mean, the inspiration was definitely a necklace piece that layers. I mean, if you guys can see what I'm wearing tonight, I have multiple layers on, and the Boss Babe set is the very first one that I'm wearing because it basically ties it all in together. And then, of course, the bracelet and the ear cuff. I mean, the ear cuff is just badass. There's no question about it.
I think that's definitely the moment, right? When the whole collection.
It totally is. And you inspired that too, because you were saying, we need something edgy, and it's just the necklace is totally every day, all the time, the bracelet as well, but then you put that ear cuff and it's empowering. Honestly, it's amazing. Yeah. So
I love it. So I want to kind of dive in a little bit into your business. And obviously, for those of you that listen to the podcast, you've heard my whole spiel, the questions that are about to happen. But one of the reasons why I love diving into the business is I love hearing the passion behind what makes women, thrive within their business. So what keeps you passionate? What keeps Erin Fader Jewelry keep going?
Absolutely. So I would say, my story, to get real.
Please get real.
Okay, we'll get real.
Spill that tea. Let's hear it.
Totally spill the tea just for you. But I honestly, I personally feel I got a second chance. And a second chance actually at discovering my passion, deciding what I wanted to do. And when I was young, when I was 18, I ended up getting pregnant. And
wow.
I definitely, it was the most tragic thing that ever happened to me. But at the same time, it gave me an opportunity to rebuild my life again and start over and with such a strong purpose. And I feel the drive is so heavily someday I want to meet my son and I want to meet him and tell him this is what I did with my life. I created this brand, I found my passion, I did what I loved to do, and I would have never been able to do that if it wasn't for you.
I think that's incredible, and I think that's literally so beautiful. So tell us, elaborate a little bit on that. So, you kind of found this new passion within jewelry.
Yeah.
And then you kind of decided what led you to making it a business.
So, honestly, I would say that it was more I'm a true artist, back to the whole creating thing again. Creating for me is again, my happy place. And using my hands has always been my happy place. And I would say that, that really, just creating is where I would find my peace. And so I think that just with him, knowing that at some point, somewhere, we will connect again.
I love that so much. I think that's amazing. And I think too, you really inspire women. So I want to talk about that. You really you find these powerhouse women and you style them, you dress them, you use them in modeling and photo shoots.
Oh my God. I'm so lucky for all the women that I get to work with. And honestly, I'm so lucky for just all the opportunities. And I want to give a shout out to, where is she? Lisa from Swirl. I think she's there. She is. Swirl Boutique, 100%. She's been an amazing mentor for me and really connecting me with a bunch of women and, kind of took me I would say kind of under her wing, which she does, as far as new designers and things like that. And, she has such amazing connections. And I've met so many amazing women throughout throughout the business and throughout the journey. I mean, I've been doing this it's been over 10 years, but we rebranded just a couple years ago. And yeah, I mean, since then it's just been about like empowering women through the jewelry and making them feel strong and beautiful. And it's been so exciting.
And you totally knock it out of the park on that. I think that the way that you really encompass your brand really showcases women into this like kind of power move.
Oh my God. I mean, that's honestly what it's all about. Like, my new hashtag, which I'm super excited about, is everyday armor.
Yes.
And it's like everyday armor for the modern woman. And if you think about it, like we all have like our practices, like we all have like it's almost a ceremony, like whether it's day or night. Like day, we're putting on like our makeup and we're getting ready for the day. In the evening, it's like all of our face creams and, serums and everything we need. But it's like, it's such a ceremony and it's such like a special like process that we do. And what about like the pieces that you put on your body, like the metal pieces, the jewelry pieces that you put on your body? Like how incredible is that? And like to think that you put that on to go conquer your world and go conquer whatever it is that you're doing. I just think it's so amazing as a designer to be able to be a part of that for each woman's life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I wear my stuff, I sleep in it. It's like something I can roll out of bed and be great with, even though I'm probably not supposed to be doing that.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well, okay. And I also want to dive into this social media. Yeah. So, the whole point of this podcast is talk about influencers, right? The influence movement. What the hell is going on Instagram? I mean, girls are just like they're making an income off their photos. They're curating content, right? Which is so interesting in today's world. Totally. And I think too, everyone sitting in this room has had an impact from social media. So tell me, how does social media play into your brand?
Oh my gosh. I mean, social media is everything. Like, I would say, strategically just using like the right people to work with that, encompass our brand messaging. And, I feel like, again, like there really isn't, like I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for the incredible support that I've had from like bloggers and influencers and other brands. Like, I mean, I feel like we're such a community and we're just all like helping each other. And so, yeah, so if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be, here today.
I love that so much. And I think too that like, I love that you leverage a community, right? And I feel like too, people maybe don't quite understand that. But when you say a community, it means that you're going in and you're actually developing relationships, friendships with these different people via Instagram, Facebook, blog, website, whatever it is. And so I love that you're just kind of cultivating it and bringing it to life. Tell us a little bit about like how you grew that. What were some of the ways that you grew this business?
So, I would say slow and steady wins the race. Like, can anybody else agree with me on that? Okay. So, I mean, it's literally like, it has been like, I feel like it's, when I reflect on it and I look back, it's like slightly snail pace, but like seriously, I mean, like it's just, you're just like, okay, like, is this working? Is this working? Da, da, da. And then, I mean, again, like it's because of social media, and I think that because of how lucky I was coming into like the game, so to speak, like that so much has happened like within the past like few years of like,
oh, totally.
Yeah, like just like this fire that it creates. So with bloggers and influencers and, yeah, I would just say it's like timing too.
Yeah, I mean, I think nowadays, it's funny because like I studied marketing in college, right? And all these like crazy traditional ways that we were taught to market. It was very black and white. It was very cold, hard numbers. It was very like, using radio ads. It was all these different things. Yeah, dude, it was weird. Anyway, so it's funny because, when I was thrown into this, I've been in marketing, if we're counting down to like my first job, I've been in marketing 6 years. And the way in which you and I communicate, the way in which we put a brand out into the market or release it is so much different, right? I mean, we were just at a conference and every brand that I talked to was asking if we had a roster of these influencers. They're asking if people could just post about their product. And it's really interesting because like gone are the days of these things like billboards, gone are the days of these things like Google Ads. I mean, how many of you guys even pay attention to Facebook Facebook ads or even let alone go on Facebook anymore. And good for you. And, it's so interesting that now we really do focus in on, this new wave of people that literally go out, take photos, post it to their audiences, and they're able to attract a sale.
Yeah, I mean, I think so much of it starts with relationships.
Yeah.
Like, it's like being genuine, being real, like cultivating real relationships. And it's so funny because the way that you say that about just like the old school way of doing it, and where like I feel like a lot of like people who are in that mind frame where they just think that it's so black and white, and you're like, no. Like, this is all about like relationships. Like, we need to genuinely like cultivate this, and once we do, then like the true love and support is there, and then it like blossoms into amazing friendships, which is like the icing on the cake. So
I love that. So what is like the passion behind all of this? Like, what keeps you going? Why do you want to keep up this jewelry thing?
Oh my God, I swear to God, it's crazy, but like it is just like it's what I love to do. Like I feel so blessed in the fact that like I have absolutely found my passion, something that every day, almost every moment, like I just thrive on and I think about it. And I'm so inspired by like all of the designers, like old school designers. Like I'm totally into the vintage, and like, I mean, it's just wanting to create new things that also pay homage to, our like the older eras. To me is like, it's so fun and so exciting, and I literally stay up at night thinking about it and dreaming about it, and I have dreams about it, like my collections, like I literally dream about it, and so it's just passion, I would say 100%.
I love that. Have you always been an entrepreneur?
I have not.
No. So tell me, what made you step out and say, hey, I'm going to own my own business? Like, this is it. I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to just go for it.
My husband.
Aww.
My husband telling me, like, you have to make money. Like, that's great that you love to do this, but like, yeah, you need to make money. So, like, for sure, like,
you got to charge that worth, girl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and for me, like, I feel like I touched on it, but like, I really feel like in my brain, in my heart, in my soul, I'm like such an artist that I'm just like, if I'm creating, I'm so happy. And it was actually like my art that, became a business. And so I did so many different things. Like, I had so many different, like, brands, and so to speak, until it was like, oh, okay, if I want to keep doing this, like, I have to obviously like start making money, support it, and if I want to leave this like job that is like supporting me while I do my art, like I have to, look at this in a different way.
Absolutely. And what was like, did you have a moment when you're like, yeah, this is it. This is what I want to do for my career. Like, this is my jumping off point. I'm going to just go for it. Did you have like that moment?
Totally. I mean, and I actually like, I have flashbacks about it because it was literally like I just remember when I was living in, back at my parents' house, and I created, like in my room, I had this, it was weird. For some reason, there was like a cork board, like a huge cork board, like 4 by 6 feet or something. And I had like pinned all this like inspiration up. And I just remember sitting there one night and I was just like, okay, like looking around, and I'm like, obviously this is what I want to do. And so then it was like, where do I go to school? What's the next steps? And then that's where going to school at the Gemological Institute, moving out to California, and being like, okay, I need to be by LA. Like, let's make this happen. So.
And what made you land on San Diego too?
San Diego, so actually in Carlsbad, there's the Gemological Institute of America. And it's actually like their world headquarters is there, and it's for diamonds and colored stones, design. And I actually, at that point in my life, I had actually just finished my like associate's degree because I wasn't sure what I really wanted to do. And then at that time, I also discovered the jewelry and was like, this is it. And where do I go, and basically learn at the fastest pace what I want to learn about, which was jewelry. And it's a trade school basically. But and then it was in Carlsbad. It was California, and I was like, okay, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing. This is the next step. So
I love that. That's awesome. So do you have any business owners that were your inspiration, or anybody a mentor, or anybody that you really looked to during this time?
Oh my God. So I would say definitely as far as business owners, again, back to Gail, my reference of her who I started working for.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't necessarily vintage, it wasn't not necessarily business, but it was just such passion that, she became such a mentor for me. And then, of course, I have so many designers that I look up to that totally fuel my soul with fire because they're amazing and they're doing amazing things.
Drop the names. Let's hear them.
Alrighty. So we have Jackie Aish. Do you guys know Jackie Aish? Okay, yes, I know. She needs to be praised. She's so amazing. So, she's all
Tell me about her, because I don't know who she is.
Yeah,
so tell me, what is she like? What's her vibe?
Yeah, so she's boho, 14 karat, all real, real gems, real gold.
Yeah.
And she does it in such a freaking sexy way. It's amazing.
Does she have an Instagram?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, I need to get on that.
Yes, absolutely. She inspires every single photo shoot. So, she just does it so well. Once you start, you can't stop.
I was going to say, because I feel like all of your shoots have this very, very strong vibe to them. And even your postcards, we were just chatting about this. You're this girl is insane, and she has the really beautiful short blonde hair, and she just has this vibe to her. And I feel like all of your jewelry and all of your photo shoots and all your content has that same very strong, powerful vibe.
Yeah, I feel lucky in the sense I just see these women and I'm like, you're my muse. This is what we're, the story that we're telling, through the jewels, through who you are, and then through the styling. I always add in vintage elements, and yeah, just trying to create that beautiful aesthetic. So fun.
I love it so much. Okay, we're going to jump into some rapid fire. This is my favorite part of the podcast. This is where you tell us all your dirty little secrets, and it's great. I know, yeah.
Super
Take that drink of water. You're going to need it. Okay, so what is your favorite go-to cocktail?
So, Kettle One Martini.
Wow.
Blue cheese olives, shaken extra hard.
Oh my God, you are literally you and my grandpa share the same favorite drink.
Grandpa.
Listen, Frank Eckis is an OG, all right? We got to give it up to him.
Oh my God, I love it.
That's amazing. I will have to say, I love a good blue cheese dirty martini.
Oh my God.
It's the best. Do you have a place that's your favorite to go to?
What's so sad is that they actually closed. It was Solace Moonlight Lounge. It was amazing. You could see the freaking ocean in Encinitas, North
Wow.
County, and they closed.
That sounds so romantic. I love it.
It's so depressing though.
Oh my gosh.
We're still searching for the next one.
I love it. What about your favorite reality TV show?
So I would say The Real Housewives, for sure. So
Yes.
super excited.
Bravo.
I know, right?
I know. I'm a Vanderpump Rules kind of girl.
Amazing.
I got it. Yep. I'm there for it.
Yes.
For sure. I can't stop. It's a problem.
So yeah, Emily Simpson actually wore my jewelry the entire season. So it's super fun to be like, oh my God, that's me.
I had the pleasure of meeting her for the first time, and she is something else.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I love her.
She's pretty real, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, and she's a lawyer. I'm like, you're hot and amazing. You're a Real Housewife, and you're a lawyer.
And she's a good
you have all
time.
these kids and
Listen.
your mom. Like, what?
Okay, this is the best part. We actually, she had this amazing event at Swirl Boutique.
Yeah,
and I walked up and I'm like, oh my God, big fan. Like, hey, how are you doing? She's like, yeah, great. You want to get a cocktail? And I was like, yes. Like, you are my human. Let's go.
Oh my God, I love her.
She's the best.
Amazing. Yeah, she's so amazing.
I love it. That's awesome. That's right. What about your favorite Instagram to stalk?
So I'm gonna go back again to Jackie Aish. She's just amazing. Like I said, just plugging into amazing jewelry is all I need in this world.
I love it so much. What about, do you have a go-to self-love or wellness practice?
I do actually. So I'm a big yoga girl. Do you guys practice yoga? Anybody yoga? Okay, love some yoga. Yoga has definitely changed my life. I feel like it's like healed me on a whole different level. And so I did it this morning. I mean, like, I like hot yoga. I like to go like sweat, detox, like.
How do you do that?
Get it all out, girl. It took a really long time. It took a really long time.
I have so much respect for you.
Oh my God.
It takes a lot for me to even like think about like taking a walk with the dogs. But I'm like,
Shut up.
I'm
No
a fan.
way. How do you get this bod?
Oh my God.
Working
Well,
out.
thanks. Stress. I'm kidding.
Yeah, for
no.
sure.
But
that's a
I
good
mean,
helper, for sure.
you know what? My girlfriend does yoga and she goes every morning at 5 a.m. And
Insane.
she really does. She says that it's more of like a mental thing than it is anything else, and that it truly helps her. Like, it helps her in her work day.
Oh, yeah.
It helps her in her personal life. It helps with everything, and it just like kind of centers you. And I mean, listen, I have so much respect for you guys, and I pray one day I can get to that point. But well, you know, till then, we're here.
It takes a really long time, but you can get there.
Yeah. Anyway, I love that so much, though. I think, I mean, do you have like a certain routine? Like, I know, you know, we always talk about like these entrepreneurs and how they have this morning routine or nightly routine. Do you have any of those?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of it has to do with now being a mom, which is, you know.
Hey, the cutest little boy on the planet.
Oh, my little monkey, he's the best. So yeah, now like almost having a 2-year-old, again, like it's being a mom and being an entrepreneur is like really, really difficult, but it's amazing. And it forces you to have like specific routines where you're like, okay, this is what I'm doing this day, this day, this day, this day. And a lot of it has to do based on like childcare and when I can. And so like, yeah, the routine, I would say it's a weekly routine. And then on weekends, it's like, okay, now I can finally relax. And like, I try to just be with my family. And that's like super amazing to me too. And it's like, put the phone down, no social, like, let's just like be super present. So, but yeah, the routine is definitely, there's a lot of working out. It definitely is like my happy place. So, and that includes like running with Jackson, with my little man, and then doing like sculpt classes on Monday, and then Fridays yoga, and you know, it's like you do what you can. So,
dude, I love it. I love that. I love that you know, I want to ask you too about like this work-life balance, because I think too there's a lot of people that are kind of wondering, you know, what is it like to run your own business and have babies, you know, and have a marriage and juggle it all?
Oh my God, it's definitely the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life when you put it all together. I mean, seriously, like when you try to like literally manage it all, it's definitely hard, but at the same time, it's like the most rewarding thing that I've ever done in my life too. And like, especially with Jackson, it's like, you know, at the end of the day, like just to be with him, or at the weekend, you know, during the weekend, like just to have like special time, like just with the family, like it's so amazing. And I would say that juggling, like, I don't know that there is actually juggling. Like, I mean, I think it's just literally like, you're just trying to survive. like true survival. Like, okay, we have to do this now. We have to do that now. Like, and you know, just doing the best that you can.
You know, it's really interesting that you say that, because I was listening. I don't know if any of you guys follow Rachel Hollis or listen to her podcast or read her book. Yeah, she's pretty amazing. One of the things she said is that there is no balance. She said if you want something bad enough, you go after it full-heartedly. And, you know, you kind of structure your life around that. And I think whether it's, you know, like you said, having a family, whether it's being a mom, whether it's running a business, or just having a side hustle or a blog or something that you're passionate about, you know, you go after it full force and you kind of recreate the space around it. Absolutely. And I think that's really interesting, because I think we also live in a world where everyone's talking about being grounded, everyone's talking about balance, everyone's talking about doing all the things and also still having time for yourself. At the end of the day, you know, you have these successful people that you look to or that inspire you, and you know, they have one direction and one thing in mind. So I kind of love that, and I think that that's such a true thing that you're speaking to.
Oh, that's amazing. I love her. I was actually just talking about her earlier today. Like, it's so funny because, yeah, she's amazing. And that's so cool that she said that. Like, that definitely resonates with me because, like, I mean, it's definitely every day, you know, you're obviously like doing what you like love to do, and then you've created this family and it's amazing. But yeah, as far as like the balance, like I don't know that we will ever actually attain that. And one of the influencers that I love to watch too is actually Melissa Wood Health.
Yeah.
Do you know her? Okay.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
yeah, she's amazing, and I love like what she posts because she's literally got like she's doing yoga poses and she literally has like 2 infants like climbing all over her like while she's lifting a leg and like trying to get a workout in, and I'm like, yes, thank you. Okay, this is it. Like, this is the truth behind it all. Like, and she's like, as long as I do it. So anyways, yeah, I don't know that the balance will ever be necessarily like found.
No, totally. I have to ask you too, have you ever heard of goat yoga?
No.
Has anyone ever heard of goat yoga?
What?
Oh my God. Biggest response of the night.
Yeah, what's goat yoga?
Look at my team's like freaking excited about it. Yeah, so it's like this new thing and they swear there's health benefits around it. I don't know if that's true, but they literally let goats crawl all over you while you're doing yoga.
Shut
I'm
up.
not kidding. Like goats.
Oh my God.
Like your downward dog, there's a goat on you.
I don't understand. I'm so confused.
Listen, we live in a weird time. We're all just trying to make it.
Is it the same thing with toddlers? Like,
Toddler yoga, goat yoga, yeah. They're all kids.
seriously.
Anyway, Erin, you've been such a blast to have on, and I'm so stoked that you and I collaborated for this piece. Obviously, we brought all of our favorite people into one room and forced them to just be with us and listen to us and get them excited. And I want to thank all of you guys for coming too. Thank you so much for coming out and spending your Saturday night with us. There is one last question that I have to ask you.
Oh, God.
And it's the biggest question of the night, but it's, what does influence mean to you?
So influence, actually, I was recently thinking about this and thinking about how much, because again, back to my vintage like love and obsession, how like influence has changed so much. Like when you think about influence originally, it was like artists and musicians, and like I think about like Andy Warhol and his like pop art culture, like Prince, and then I think about like the Beatles that like influence like music, and like now like influence is just something that I think what it means to me is somebody coming out with like passion and heart and soul. And to me, that's like, those are the people who are doing that, and on social, like, if you are coming with passion, you're coming with heart, and you're coming with soul, like, you are influencing.
In every way, right? Not even on social. If you're in business, if you're, self-help, if you're speaking to people, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, I love it. That was powerful. That was great. Erin, thank you so much for doing this with me. Thank you guys so much for having us out here and coming and supporting. We love it. Just a few more notes. I think that we'll still be out in Luca if you guys want to come by and see Erin's amazing pop-up. One of the cool things about the pop-up is that Erin actually took all the pieces that I was obsessed with and styled them with our set. There's an amazing special discount, so if you guys don't buy it, we're sorry if it sells out. So go for it, and thanks so much for going under the influence with us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness.
I just wanted to give a little thank you to you guys. I'm going to grab this. We just wanted to give one more round of applause to Whitney and Erin. This is from all of our team to you, so feel free to just, Thank you all for being such an inspiration and for putting this on for us. We really appreciate it. And thank you everyone for coming. One more round of applause. Thanks.